The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from USAopoly.
Hello and welcome to a special preview edition of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the Daughter.
And today we are actually previewing the new Munchkin X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is by...
Steve Jackson Games, and it's developed by USAopoly.
Yes. So if you're familiar with the Munchkin games, this plays very similar to that, except it's got all the cool X-Men things. It's got Wolverine.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. But it's not the Hugh Jackman Wolverine. It's the comics.
If it was Hugh Jackman, we'd have a bit of an issue because you'd be distracted. Man crush.
So let's open this up and take a look at how this game plays. As just kind of a quick overview for those of you who are not familiar with playing Munchkin, you're going to start off, at least in Munchkin X-Men, with one of the students at Xavier's School for...
Gifted youngsters.
Gifted youngsters, yeah. That's, we don't
like
really...
that word,
we
youngsters.
Youngsters?
I don't know. I mean, it's just so, 70s.
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like an old word. I mean, even in first class, Charles tries to bring around the word groovy. He says that a lot. It's a groovy mutation. Heterochromioma.
Now, I will point out that the characters that you have, we have all the male sides here, but when you flip these over, you have the female sides, because this is actually important because some cards actually refer to either male or female. Everybody is going to start on level 1, so after you choose which one you want, so let's just say for grins, here Megan, so you can start with that student. So we have these neat little, I don't know what you call them, tiddlywink things.
Tiddlywinks.
So we're all going to start on level 1, and we each have certain abilities. So my guy says once per combat, you can discard a card to give +2 to either side. And either side refers to combat because you're either going to help or hinder the other players. Megan, your ability says you get an extra +2 when you're in combat alone.
Cool.
And the alone part comes in because if you cannot defeat a monster, you can ask for help. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So the way the game starts off is we each get 4 cards off of each deck. This is the door deck, and you can see because it's got a door on it. So Megan, you would just get, there's 4 for me, and then you get 4 treasure cards. Now at the end of our turn, we have to be down to 5 cards in our hand. But on our turn, basically, we can look at the cards that we have here, and we can play any of the cards legally in front of us. So in this case, I have no equipment. That kind of stinks. But I do have a power. So I can play my power down, and you'll notice the power says power rank of 1. I cannot have a total power ranking higher than what my level is. So since I'm a level 1, I can actually play that down, and I will get those benefits during that time. Now, something else I can do, since I'm not into combat, I could play like this, where it says go up level. So I would just discard that, and I would now be at level 2. So since I can't do anything else with my hand, I kick open the door. So I draw the top card off of the draw deck, and I look, and it is not a monster, so this can go into my hand. I can also play this if I can legally, which I cannot because he is a power rank of 2. So now I have an option. I can look in my hand and see if I have a monster, which I do. I have Lady Deathstrike. Do you remember her from X-Men 2? She was kind of like Wolverine. I also have a level 15 Mr. Sinister. I cannot beat either of those guys because my power is my level plus any bonuses I have. So my level at 2, I have a bonus 1. I'm not going to be able to defeat anybody higher than a level 3. So since I cannot look for trouble because I cannot defeat those guys, then what I am going to do is I'm going to do what's called loot the room, and I'll just take the top card off of the door deck, and that's going to go into my hand. Now it would be Megan's turn, so she could play any cards that were like equipment, and looking at her hand, so she has 3 things here. Actually, she has 4. She has an ally, which you can have 1 ally in play at a time. She has 2 one-handed items, so she can have one for each hand, so she could play that. And she has headgear, so Megan could play all 4 of those down in front of her, and those would go with her character. So we would just kind of put those out there. So Megan actually has a kick butt hand because she's a level 1. She's got a +1 bonus there. And then it says she gets an extra +2 for X-Men, or if she's wearing glasses. So Megan, if you had the glasses on that I do, then you would actually get a bonus. And that's a really cool thing about this game is there is one that you would win or you would get a bonus for because you have red hair.
Oh, cool.
There's another one that says you get a bonus for all the electronic devices that are on the table, or you get a bonus if there is like a cup of water or a beverage on the table. But then you also get, you've got Muramasa Blade, which is an extra 2 when in combat alone. Plus you get that bonus up here. You've got Bishop's Shotgun.
Females.
Yeah, so since you are female, you would not get that bonus.
And this one's an extra +2 for females with Storm.
Yeah, so you would have a lot. So the first thing you would do is you'd kick down the door, and you have a level 13. Whoops, can't see that there. Put that up here. So you have a level 13. It says +10 if Master Mold or Nimrod is on the door discard, or is in the door discards. Count as a sentinel. You may discard this card to give a sentinel +5. So let's see, Megan, you're at this guy's at 13, and your bonus is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if you're alone, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you wouldn't need any help. You would actually be able to defeat this guy.
Cool.
Now, what I can do on my turn is I can look in my hand and I could play some bad things. So this is where I could do like this one shot. It says +2 to player side. So if I was helping you, I would play that. This one is also to player side. This one here is to either side. So I could throw this card down, and now he's a level 15, which you would then have to look in your hand to see if you had any extra bonuses in order to get over that hump. Chances are, until you get closer to level 10 and winning the game, I probably wouldn't mess with you. So let's just say that Megan wins that battle.
Cool.
So what she's going to do, she's going to look at the bottom of this card, and it says what she is going to get as far as treasure. Does that say 3 treasure there? So Megan will be able to, she'll go up a level because she defeated this guy, so she'll go to level 2. This guy gets discarded, but she gets to draw 3 treasure cards right off the top. And if she has anything there that she can use, she could put down. So you've got the armor, so you could put the armor down because you don't currently have any armor on your character. You cannot use the headgear unless you wanted to swap it out. So you could swap Cerebro out, swap that out instead of using Cyclops Visor. So that would be just something you'd have to look to see if that was something else you wanted to do.
Okay.
Now, one last thing I want to talk about is you saw how you can play a card to go up a level. When you defeat a monster, you go up a level, and then you can actually buy a level. You can buy a level with the money from the cards. So looking at these treasure cards here, you can see they have a monetary value down at the bottom. If you have $1,000 basically worth of these cards, you can discard them and go up a level. So you only have 600, so you couldn't do that. But just say if you did, you'd be able to go up. Now, once you get all the way up to level 10, you win. And I found in my experience playing Munchkin in the past that as soon as somebody gets up to level 8 or 9, that's when you really start messing with them, because you don't want to just waste your cards on the lower levels. You can let them do that. But the other thing about winning is you have to defeat a monster to go from level 9 to 10. You can't use one of the level up cards, and you can't buy a level. But there are some neat take that cards in here as well, besides throwing extra things on players to make it difficult for them. You can actually steal a level from another player.
Ooh, that's cool.
And we've done that quite a bit. We've been playing this at lunch with my work group, and everybody's been stealing levels as soon as they get that card. And it's usually Jeff stealing a level from me, or me stealing from him. One thing I didn't talk about was when you cannot defeat a monster, you have to run away. So in order to successfully run away from the bad guy, you have to roll this really cool d6. And you have to get a 5 or 6 unless you've got a modifier. There's some that give you like a +1 to your runaway. So you would have to do that. If you are unsuccessful at running away, then you got to look at the bad stuff. And the bad stuff usually is really bad. So like in this case for Mr. Sinister, it says go back in time and suffer the bad stuff on the top two monsters in the door discard. So that could be really bad things. There's other ones that make you lose levels. There's ones that make you lose equipment and so forth. So yeah, you don't want to have the bad stuff. Okay, so that was our preview, since we couldn't actually play it, since we needed at least 3 or 4 players. But, you know, I'm not a huge Munchkin fan. I've played it before, played the regular version. I actually like this one a lot more because...
Is it just because of the theming?
Well, the theming is very strong in this. You know, especially with having, you know, the allies and the different powers that you have, the traps that, you know, you can fall into. So... yeah, I really like this. In fact, I would play this over the regular Munchkin anytime. Now, you've kind of played through kind of like, you know, simulated turns and such. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I've played regular Munchkin a long time ago, and it just kind of was for me. This one's kind of like, I mean, it's a great game, and, you know, it's an easy, light, kind of almost like a filler game, I think, kind of, because it goes pretty quickly and all.
Well, but the game is kind of like Flux, where it can actually be fast or it can be long.
Yeah, I mean, and I've only played, like you said, like a simulated version just to kind of get the feel of it. I mean, we did play with 3 players when we played the original, but it has been a while, so it's a little bit foggy, but I do think the theming is really good. Like you said, it is very heavy, which I think is a good thing because it does tie in really well with the whole gameplay of Munchkin. So it is kind of cool.
So, given your track record in playing games and how you like to stick it to people,
I mean,
you know, take that aspect.
That's a really cool aspect.
This game is huge when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So I think if you had a chance to actually sit down and play this with 3 or 4 players, you would really like it because of that factor, especially if we play against Jeff.
Yeah.
Because Jeff and I, when we play, when Jeff and I play, you know, I may not even be the right person to go after, and he's going to try to do everything he can to mess me up so I'm not, you know, gaining levels and such.
We like you so much. We like to give you a hard time. But, I mean, it is. I mean, as we saw in, like, our little version of it, you know, I was able to stick it to you a couple times with some of those one-shots and all.
Right.
So that is kind of cool because I was like, oh, man, I can defeat you a little bit.
And you didn't get to see this in our little example, but there's a card that's called a Wandering Monster. So when somebody kicks the door down, they're fighting a monster. If you have a Wandering Monster card in your hand, you can throw that down, and if you have a monster in your hand, throw that down too. So they got to fight both of them combined. So they might be fighting a level 2, and you throw down a level 18. They've got to come up with 20 fight.
And there's probably not a good chance they have that.
Yeah, and then, you know, they might get somebody else. A lot of times you sucker people in. You know, you like, oh, they kind of got like a medium, say like maybe a level 10, and they're like, well, I can't really beat this guy by myself, but you know, somebody helps me. And then you've got a Wandering Monster, and bam, you throw that down. It messes both of them up because they both have to either run away successfully or face the bad stuff. So
bad stuff.
Yeah, the bad stuff, because bad stuff happens, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, but I really like this. In fact, there is a Marvel version that I'm hoping that we can do a preview on too.
Yeah.
So, Captain America, Iron Man, trying to think of who else is on the cover of that one. But
It's still Marvel. We like Marvel.
we love Marvel. And I really like this version of X-Men. We've been playing this a lot at work. So the game guys that like Munchkin that have been playing it really enjoy it. So it's been a hit with those guys. So, and I know, like I said, some of my other friends do not like Munchkin because it's too random. You're flipping a card over, you're rolling die, and that's fine. I like this. I like regular Munchkin. So, but this would be my Munchkin of choice.
I can see that, yeah, because I'll probably, if we have an option, I would definitely go for this one more, just because I kind of know X-Men more, and it's kind of cool, the whole theming of it.
Yeah, and like I said, the theme I think is pretty strong with this one. I think that will wrap up our preview, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.